Welcome to Fans Assemble, where we come together to talk about all the things we fan over, like comic books, movies, sports, or anything else that we love. We hope you enjoy the show. Previously on Fans Assemble.
One eternity later.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fans Assemble. I'm your host, James. And here I am joined by my regular co host, Mike.
Hello.
And Ray. For some reason, they wanted you back.
Glad to be back.
And today, I think we're going to have a great show. We're already revved up. We're already going at each other a little bit. Mike, a little bit more than others. We're going to talk about the most recent Marvel Cinematic Universe Disney Plus show, She-Hulk, that just wrapped up last week. So all of us have kind of taken a little bit of time since the season finale to really absorb the show. And we're going to talk about our expectations coming into the show, what we thought, were we that excited for a She-Hulk show, and then our scoring after the whole show wrapped up for the season, and what we think about how the internet and the public thought of the show. So that's basically the gist of it. So just first, She-Hulk came out August 18th of this year, at 9 episodes on Disney Plus. It's as I said, the latest show on the MCU. So first, let's go on with the easier. I know it's going to be the easier of the two. I'll have Ray go first, and then I'll go last after Mike for the expectations. So Ray, what were your expectations when She-Hulk was announced? Not even the trailer, just when you knew that the character was going to have her own TV show.
Well, first they announced it as a comedy. I thought that was interesting. Something new for the MCU for sure.
Wait, the show is a comedy?
It's supposed
No,
to be.
it's a biopic.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't really know much about She-Hulk, like beyond like appearances in like some games and like some shows that I watched and stuff. But like, I don't know. I really have huge expectations going into it.
So from a scale, let's say of 1 to 5, 1 being you don't care about it, 5 being this is going to be the greatest show you marked on your calendar. Where were you on excitement when the show was announced?
Like a 2.5, like in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So moving on to will definitely be the more impactful statement, I'm sure. Mike, what was your expectations when the show was announced?
Yeah, I mean,
That
I knew it was going to be some kind of like legal based show. I didn't really pay attention to it until it was pretty much ready to like come out. Um, I'm not that in the know on this stuff, but so I knew it was going to be like a legal based show. So that was kind of like, well, because at first I thought this was just going to be some like freak lab thing gone wrong, and then you know you think She-Hulk, and you kind of think something more along the lines of the original Hulk. In his story, I didn't really know much about the character, but then there was a whole legal thing. So I'm like, okay, they're probably going to try and make her some like relatable, snarky, uh, young professional, and that's kind of where the show went. So it really didn't like be much different than I thought. Maybe the ending and the outcomes, but going into it is pretty much laid out how I like from the beginning how I had anticipated. Um, but did I expect this to be like a pinnacle of the saga of the whole saga and the series and universe? No, I didn't really like. You know, I'm at a point where it's like, oh, I'll just kind of watch whatever they put out, but there's really nothing that's got me excited right now.
Yeah, I was the same way. Like, just more like something like finally something new to watch, you know?
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
it followed Moon Knight, right? I think.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Miss
I mean,
Marvel. Miss
I mean,
Oh,
Marvel.
different than Moon Knight.
yeah, definitely.
Because Moon Knight's a much more obscure like
Mhm.
character, like in a standalone character based off of like some sort of like real world elements. But like the She-Hulk's and well, the challenge for this show is like how do you get out of the shadow of the Hulk, the original Hulk, like in Mark Ruffalo, and like how do you get out of his shadow, and especially like with a female version of the Hulk, like
Wait.
obviously it's going to be
Wait, Mike. Let's save this for your rating
yeah.
because I think it'll affect your rating. So I'll go last. My expectation, I'm just kind of similar to Ray. I would say it was like more like a two out of five. I thought it would be interesting, the comedy, because I do like sitcoms and things like that, but I wasn't gonna mark it on my calendar or anything. I actually kind of thought of it as like this could be a show you could just put on and like laugh at a little bit. Like it's nothing like too serious or you have to really pay attention to. That's
Yeah.
what like kind of like how you just put on like any show. Like I don't want to compare it to The Office, but like a lot of people use The Office that way, sort of like that. Um,
Like you just watch
but
reruns and.
yeah, you can make fun. It's not like
Mhm.
my brain like it's not gonna change your perspective in the world or something. That's why I kind of thought it was interesting and looking forward to it. Uh, so yeah, so we're all kind of similar. Uh, None of us really had that high of expectations. So we're gonna move on to how we scored. I think we're gonna go with Ray first.
Okay. Seems like I'm the pick to go first today.
Yes, you will be the victim for this.
So, I guess what are you, out of 10? Maybe you think
Yeah, let's do out of
a
10.
10. I would say for me, probably a 7. About average, not nothing like crazy. I'm not like gonna say it's like the greatest thing I ever watched, but there's some funny moments. I think the story was a little weak, and like the weekly episodes didn't really like have anything interesting going on in them,
Yeah.
which kind of made it weak in my opinion. Like, and like each week, I wasn't like dying to see the next episode.
Hmm.
So it kind of like failed to pull you
Draw
in.
you in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
Well, I mean, at the end, I think it got suspenseful, but I think the problem was is that like there wasn't no villain like that was like they teased it, and then it turned out to be like there wasn't like a main underlying villain or scheme out there. It's more about creating a new timeline for the Hulk. Like I think that's really at the end of the day, in terms of like the grand scheme of the universe, like it's really just about like creating a new timeline for the Hulk, while also providing like a short term like entertainment. Um, something that's a little more easygoing. Um, but I think there was suspense. I don't think it was like without suspense. Especially like the whole thing like with the guy Josh and all that stuff, and um,
I
but
think
I think
some of the cases were pretty funny. Like can we talk spoilers or no, James?
yeah, at this point, yeah. If
Okay.
we forget anything, then we'll just talk about it after we give all the scores.
Yeah, like the one case where the guy like he's like immortal and all his wives. I mean, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah.
Like
yeah,
there was some funny moments. Like I'm not
like
gonna say
the legal drama of it, and then putting it in like a fictitious universe, like
it was
makes
kind
it
of.
kind of funny because you have like these normal like
Mhm.
Like superhero
human civil,
tropes.
you have these normal human civil courts, and you got all these freaks getting dragged into it, and it's kind of just
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
well, it's dramatization, but is it any much different than real life? Some of the you watch Judge Judy or something, and you're going to see maybe not so far off
Yeah.
characters.
Two wives and
but I think they also failed to like I don't know like show a lot. Like I feel like the legal part was kind of put in the
very
back.
extra.
Yeah, like it was kind of like a novelty at the
Well,
end.
I think look the way the show ended, right, tells you what the show was really meant to be about.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
everything else was just either like comedic or just kind of like just because the episodes were short, right? They weren't long. Like this wasn't meant to be like, and it was always like, and I liked it like when Jen broke the best part was like breaking the fourth wall and like, oh, I promise this isn't a show about cameos and this is my show and all these different things. And I know that pissed like a lot of people off. And a lot of people didn't like that, but
Uh-huh.
like at the end of the day, like it was a like they were poking fun at the fact that the show was like a struggle to like both introduce a new character and also like keep people entertained and interested. That was the thing. Like Miss Marvel had like a drop off in ratings, and people were like, "Yeah, no, this ain't it." So like throwing in like another female character, another thing, like you got to do fan service, I guess, at some point to keep people like happy
Yeah,
for all the
just
people
to
who are
keep
going
a
to be
connection.
just for all the people that are going to be haters. Like you kind of have to throw in fan service, and then it's like, well, at the same time, this is my show. Like this is about me and introducing me, and then it ends with Hulk and his the whole family thing and Matt Murdock and like so like now what happens if here's my thing about the show, and I think and even more interesting about that like the Hulk and his son. What if
Yeah.
Jen and Matt were to have a kid? I think that's the most interesting prospect going forward.
Wait. Oh, you're going way deep. Like you were giving like, oh, what did they do? Planet Hulk movie. Uh, give us, Mike. What your score is out of 10? Ray gave 7 out of 10. What is your score?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's important conversation.
Okay. All right.
We got
All
to
right.
figure out like my whole thing is like when determining whether or not, and this is like going back to the last one we did, right? Like, what's the grand scheme of it all? How important is this to the grand scheme of it all? And that's a problem with some of the other shows. Um, I'm gonna give it a flat five, and that's a generous five. Like, I was entertained by the show. Like, I didn't like it was a nice quick watch in the morning before work. Like, I'll just check this out, see how it goes, and it's like I was never bored. I was never like zoned out.
Mhm.
I think the legal drama and proceedings and like abomination and all like Ray mentioned, like some of the court situations, like they were
Yeah.
funny, they were comical, enjoyable. And like I said, the show wasn't like
Game changing or anything. Like, oh,
right,
you have to watch this show.
right, like you don't have like right, you're not like I said, you can just see some spoilers online and get the gist of the show. Like, you don't have to watch every episode in full, but like I said, it's not really boring. You're not gonna be like instead if you're just looking for a quick watch to pass some time, like there you go. So five right in the middle, not good, not bad. Pros
That's
and
fair.
cons of it.
Better than I thought you were gonna give it.
Me too. I thought Mike's gonna be like 2 out of 10. I'm being generous.
No, I'm not a like I
Hater.
said, I'm
Yeah.
not a total hater. Like I'm not
Yeah.
a
You see what it is. Right? You see what it is.
I feel like you can find enjoyment in anything. You know what I mean? Like,
As long
like,
as it's not like completely
look,
like
I'm just gonna say,
utter.
like, I think she was cringe at times, and that's kind of like that's how I feel about like older millennials who are
Okay. Yeah.
professionals. Like I just find them cringe in general. Like that's why Miss Marvel to me was better because like we're at an age where we're kind of like more closer to like Gen Z high schoolers than we are like a 30 something, millennial lawyer because we're still kind of young. So it's kind of like who's more relatable to me? Like,
Yeah. Um. I have a similar perspectives to you guys. I give the show a 7 out of 10. I'm kind of similar to Ray because I kind of do like those type of shows where we see how somebody's dealing with a problem and the age thing. I always think like Mike said, it's tough to do. I think anything with somebody who's like in their 30s because like it seems kind of cringe. It's not. I mean, like everybody in their 30s, I'm sure they have problems like dating and stuff like that. But it does come off a little cringe in like a TV show or like a movie, and it's just easier to do it for like high school or college. But obviously, Jen is not that age in the show, so there is some stuff that comes off a little cringe. I thought it was funny, like the influencer taking her name and like copywriting it.
oh
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
that, yeah, I thought that
Humil-
was funny.
Jamila
Uh,
Jamil.
yeah, or I even thought like the way they explained her problem with being She-Hulk was very good, where she said like, oh, like you come back to, you have Jen Walter, and then she's very different, and then you have She-Hulk, like she's like the popular kid in school. I thought those were good comparisons, and I thought they did well with that. Um,
Yeah, I,
for
I,
me, yeah,
like I agree with that. Like it's the thing is like she's not a victim, but like it's almost like it's incredibly life changing. It puts her through like traumatic situations and stressful situations and life threatening situations, and like it changes her career for better and for worse. Like changes her relationships romantically and personally. Um, so like, but at the same time, like she didn't go through anything near what you know Bruce Banner's whole goes through. But like I said, in a shorter show, it's kind of hard to like
Yeah,
do
so
yeah,
do you
too much.
think like
we can't.
they didn't really spend too much time on like how she got her powers? It's like
Yeah, even
Well,
like
that
the
part was
superhero
fine.
part wasn't that much.
That part was fine, but it's like it didn't totally destroy her life. Like it didn't like put her to a super low. It just created more like
drama.
right. But it's like if you're just a normal working
Complications.
right, you don't want to get drawn into like it's not like she got drawn into like a battle with Thanos or something. Like you know what I mean? Like it
Yeah, it
wasn't that extreme. Like
was low stakes, basically. You're saying, right?
right, like it was all like right. Most of it was not. But
So saying that the stakes aren't that high, and there's no villain. I will say that I actually did enjoy watching this more than Moon Knight.
I think so too. Yeah.
Didn't you feel like this is my problem with all the Marvel show, like any show really on streaming, but specifically sometimes with like any superhero show really, is like they will ask for your attention for way too long,
Hmm.
and then you kind of like you have to watch. Oh, like we have to know why he's this way, and then like they just take you through this whole mythology, and like I just kind of I zone out sometimes. So this show does a great job of like it's funny, it's entertaining. Like Mike said, there's a little bit of relatability, which I think is a big part of why the show's good, why
Yeah,
we think it's good.
I think the comedy's more for you, like you said, like 30 somethings. You know what I mean? Like it's like going back watching Friends. It's like when you're 20,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you don't really relate to all the jokes. Like
I just think it's more simplistic. Like I think it's even more simplistic like that. The only like good part, like to me, the show is just the show's not boring. Like it's not like it's really it. Like it's that simple to me. Like it's just like I didn't find it boring. Like I had times where I was rooting for her, and then there's times where I'm like, okay, like calm down, you're being stupid. Like, and that's kind of like that's it. Like it's just a simple like black and white thing. Like, and then overall the show was just
I
not
think
boring.
I think also like as a comedy, some of the jokes didn't always land.
Yeah. So transition to us talking about the most noteworthy moments from this part. So my will transition from here, and I'm glad Ray said that some of the jokes didn't land because my 3 points, my whole 3 points, come off of the Megan Thee Stallion after the credit scene where they dance together. That's like basically in that show. If they didn't have that, the show would be way higher. Like some of the stuff, I thought like okay, Daredevil being funny, like all right, that's okay because sometimes in the comic books he's a little bit of like not a jokester, but with other superheroes he could be slightly sarcastic and he's a kind of calm, cool, collected type of guy and
Like Batman kind of.
yeah, and then and then people were like surprised, and I was too, that they end up having a romantic relationship on the show. But I was like, okay, that's believable. Daredevil in the comics, he is a good-looking guy. Girls do like him, things like that. And then plus you can add in like Jen is her personality. Maybe they get along. But the Megan Thee Stallion part, where they're dancing, especially because I forgave the whole like the CGI look. So I was like, oh, it's okay, it's not that much. But then when they start dancing, she's like twerking. I was like, this is like okay, I cannot get along with this. Like all of a sudden, like she's just gonna start. Like, she's supposed to be a very reserved person if she doesn't have the She-Hulk personality. She starts dancing in the office with her.
I'll admit, me and my sister were dying laughing at that part.
I mean, I guess they got the job done then. If you were laughing.
Oh man.
I mean, that's like a whole like thing to me because it's like I respect the boldness because you know you're gonna get ridiculed and roasted for doing it, and you
yeah,
did it
yeah.
anyways. So like unironically speaking, it's the dumbest shit ever. Pardon my French. And then,
We may have to censor that.
sorry. Ironically speaking, it's hilarious because you take something that you know a ton of people are gonna get pissed off about. And be like, no, you can't put that in the show. You know, and Twitter goes crazy and Reddit goes crazy and everyone thinks this show sucks, it's cringe. Like I respect that because you go out there and you know you're gonna be provocative. And to me, sometimes being cringe, in spite of knowing that you're gonna be cringe and people are gonna come at you for it, you've got my respect.
So what I'm hearing is Mike will be the first one to watch if they have when they do have a season 2. Then
No, like it's just to me, like it's like at the same time, like people might actually like find it captivating and funny. And
like
then,
Ray.
and then there's the people that are gonna get
People with low
you know,
attention spans, basically.
Yeah.
you know, and then it's like the people who are gonna get triggered by it, and then you know, either way, to me, it's the irony of it. It's the funniness of it.
Do you think they?
It's the reactions that you wouldn't expect, and that's what makes it good.
Do you think they overdid the comedy and like?
I think if they,
I mean,
I'm not even joking. I think if they didn't have that scene, I would have said the comedy was landed with me anyways.
Because I think like Guardians, Guardians of the Galaxy, like Peacemaker, like James Gunn, they do a lot of comedy, but like
they go back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's actually like you get funny moments, you also get serious moments. Like
the moments I did like in the show a lot was like remember when that guy who ends up being the bad guy, the rich dude,
Hulk King,
who's the King Hulk guy. He was like, remember he calls her. And
incel.
He's like, I need an appointment, and then he shows up, and then it was like a date. Like that, I thought was funny. Like I thought, okay, that's pretty funny.
Well, look, I think like the show also kind of has like the social commentary aspect. So like obviously like it's a knock on like internet like incel culture, and which is funny in a lot of ways to satirize. It's very easy to satirize, and it also in real life comes with a lot of bad actors and bad folks. So it's kind of like actually not like an unrealistic plot premise. It's kind of like a big part, I guess, of like the internet today. So it's like going into that and like satirizing it, but then at the same time like capturing it is like it's realistic. Like it's part like if there was a She-Hulk in real life, like a lot of the people like they had all the like the news reactions to her and that like Hulk King's group of people. Like these are all legitimately 100% how people would react in real life if there was a She-Hulk.
So what I'm hearing,
and that's what I respect about the show. Like they pretty much like, and as much as it like sometimes it's like depending on like your point of view, either gonna like it or not like it. But at the end of the day, you're kind of like presenting the reality, putting it out there, spinning it how you want to spin it, and knowing you're gonna get 40% to love it, 40% to hate it, and then 20% somewhere in the middle. And that's exactly what you should be doing when you're trying to be funny and also capture realistic, social events and dynamics.
That's probably going to be the title of this video. She-Hulk has social commentary. Has the best social commentary you can get 2022. One thing I want to ask you guys, this is kind of like my only thing I want to ask your opinions or discuss a little bit at least. What did you guys think of the end episode where she goes to Disney Studios in California, and then she talks to Kevin, and she's like, "Hey, so where's the X-Men?" And then she's making fun of like, no, that makes no sense. Like, why would we have the Hulk there? And I thought, it was kind of funny because these are exactly like stuff like Ray and I always discuss, like, oh, we watched Doctor Strange. Oh, where's the X-Men and stuff like that. So I thought it was hilarious how she points it out. And I do think Mike was extremely spot on with basically that's what the show's about. It's supposed to be about her life, right? And then that ending would have been very random to go with the tone of the show. So what did you guys think of that? Did you like find it funny? Did you think it was interesting?
I think that was actually the best joke in the whole show. Like they saved the best joke for last, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like if every joke in the show was like that, I think the show would have been a lot better for a lot of people. But like, I don't know, like they saved the best for last, basically. And
Yeah,
they kinda,
I guess it's hard to keep.
They shot themselves, but
I think in a way, Marvel Studios is telling the consumer the truth. And they're basically saying, we have no idea what we're doing right now. We don't have a full idea of where we're going. We're going somewhere. We have things lined up. But at the end of the day, like, because I mean, they really, really brought out the juggernaut, like the whole Avengers series and Infinity War and Endgame. Like, you really, really like passed like to reinvent the whole universe and like get it going again. Like, it's very difficult because when you go in that big and that hard, like, and you have certain characters pass away and be written off, and it's really hard to move on. Like, and it's kind of like you're gonna have to fill the gaps with stuff like certain existing characters, bring in some new ones, slowly integrate them, figure out how to like try new things, experiment with new formats of shows, and it's kind of just like it's chaotic. It's doesn't make any sense, and it's a mess, a hot mess. And some fans are getting impatient and annoyed and angry and frustrated, and I'm sure they know that. But at the end of the day, most of us are still paying our money and subscribing and watching.
Yeah.
So we're kind of all reeled in and it's along for the ride. And
I think they just want to put out the product, and then like this is the product. There's nothing else coming behind it right now. Just enjoy the show, not this thing that's a part of a million other things.
I think that's the problem with the MCU now. Is like, oh, here's a new character. Like,
how is this gonna connect? Is
like
maybe
maybe
Spider-Man's nephew.
Yeah, like in like 5 years, maybe we'll see them again. Like,
well, that's another thing, right? Like these things take so long to produce. Like it takes like think about how long it took Avengers to finalize and finish. Like
yeah,
and then throwing COVID in the middle of it, like delayed a lot of stuff, changed things dramatically. So like things are in a position where, like I said, they're resetting after a very dramatic outcome and change. And nobody knows where anything's going, and it's either, like I said, you can either quit on it or you could be patient and deal with it.
That's why I like Miss Marvel a lot because like
and maybe it'll pay off.
No,
maybe things are gonna end up being really good.
Ray's about to make this the Miss Marvel podcast. Go ahead.
No, like Miss Marvel. I don't know, like I think that was like the best introduction of a new character in this phase so far. Maybe like that in Shang-Chi, like.
Yeah, one of those two probably.
Yeah, like it actually felt like it was leading.
Or Kate Bishop maybe.
Hawkeye. Yeah, Hawkeye, but like Moon Knight, even like Loki is like, where are they going with this shit? Like.
Why are you guys cursing so much?
Like my whole thing is this, right? Like the Hulk ended up fitting into the Avengers, right? And becomes a big part of the Avengers and the timeline itself and Infinity War and Endgame, right? Yeah. Like, who does She-Hulk have to go up against? Like, as I'm saying, like, I think like her future in a season 2 is probably gonna be like
more of this, I think.
Yeah.
Right, like it's not gonna be some grand scheme thing. It's not gonna be like it's gonna just be its own like subset. And I mean, in its own ways, that's okay. And like, right, so like the ending too, right? Like it's like so the Hulk has a son, right?
Okay, what? Bring up the Matt Murdock having a kid thing.
So like
Go, go
what?
ahead.
Maybe he'll be
But I
blind.
think, but I think it's an interesting thing. Like, what happens if you take a woman who's a Hulk
Okay.
and then have her have a child with a man who's blind and also
Don't worry.
very
You know what?
intelligent and capable? Very intelligent and capable. That's not a knock on blindness. I'm just saying, like, who knows what could be created out of this? Because
But
to my
even
knowledge, there's no other canon or anything, right? Like, where they're together, right? Am I wrong? You guys know a lot more than I do. I
Nah,
think
we're
that's
not.
the most. I think that's the most. What is it? She Devil, Dare Hulk. Like, what are you gonna make? But uh, maybe it'd be the best lawyer ever.
I'm thinking the kid has to be a lawyer.
Right, it'd be the best lawyer ever.
No,
Maybe,
no, no.
maybe, maybe Thanos has a wife somewhere and she's gonna come sue the Avengers
yeah, and then She-Hulk's gonna take the case.
for them. But you know, or you gotta be funny, you gotta be comical, you gotta not take things too seriously, and that's the problem. People took the show too seriously. They're like, she's a cringe. She's got all the. This is ridiculous. And then it's
Yeah,
like
like
just
online.
relax, just calm down. Just like I said, if you really don't like it that much, don't watch it. No one's forcing you. You're not gonna miss out on anything.
So
You're
yeah,
not
same thing.
gonna like be lost if you don't watch it. I'm sure everyone, whether they liked or hated the show, saw the Megan Thee Stallion twerking and saw uh Hulk's son and saw Daredevil and saw
You
the Incredible
love
Hulk.
this Hulk son thing. Me or Ray, me and Ray have not mentioned it once combined. You mentioned it 3 times.
Isn't that a big part of the show though? Isn't that a whole like thing? Like Hulk
Yeah,
should
Well,
have no
I'm
son.
sure.
that's like that's like setting up the future, I guess, of Hulk. You're right. You're right.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. Like, why is that not something that should be talked about? Like, like I said, no, Ray, I know you love the twerking scene. I know that's your thing. I know
And
that's like,
I'm
that
just
is
I'm just
that's
upset they
your.
didn't show full nudity as She-Hulk in the sex scenes.
We need an HBO cut for this.
Yeah, we need the HBO cut.
But
Uh,
like I said, I'm a grand scheme guy. I'm a big picture guy, and I always will be. And to me, it's about the future and what's coming next. And like I said, none of us are gonna know. None of us. We can have ideas and we can think about it, but um, yeah, I mean, you've got to have a future. You've got to build upon these, and they go on their own adventure. I mean, it's a vast universe. There's so many planets, things out there to explore and conquer and face. So it's like you don't need a grand villain like Thanos anymore. Like you don't need that. Like you can create plenty interesting, unique subplots
Yeah, you bring up a
and
good point.
still,
Like
and
not
still
everything
keep
has
it
to be connected.
continuous and fresh.
Yeah, not everything has to be connected now. You know.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like just have fun and make some things and be new and
Like
like I said, half Hulk, half Daredevil kid, like Hulk's son. Like let's do it. Let's go see what they want to do and like
I'm sure we'll do a podcast later, right? James of Werewolf by Night. That was kind of like
yeah, we'll do it. Ray
yeah.
and I are planning to do a couple of Halloween things, so that'll probably
Hmm.
be it.
yeah.
So should we wrap it up, or I think we talked about most stuff.
Did you want to talk about like the public reaction to it? Like,
I felt like Mike just
yeah.
killed off, and just destroyed the public. So
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I have the same sentiment as Mike. Is
I,
that
I,
this show
I
is
can
not
make one.
anything.
People take it. Marvel fans take everything too serious.
Yeah, it's not
I'm
The
just gonna say one thing.
Sopranos.
Like I'm gonna say one thing, right, about people's reaction to the show. It's 2022, right? You have a female lead superhero character. You're
Automatically, it
gonna,
was bound
right,
to get.
you're gonna have like she's gonna be a strong independent woman. She's gonna have like her pride. She's gonna have her ambition. She's gonna have her things like criticizing the show as being woke or feminist. Like at this point, if you're still like watching and getting upset, like you're the fool. Like it's like if you really are that bothered by it and against it, just stop watching.
Yeah,
Like
it's true.
like that's what I'm saying. Like these people obviously like who are making the show are fitting the character into the more modern world, and if you don't like it, like you just don't watch it. And it's that simple. Like if you spend your time watching and getting upset by it, like you're clearly just into being pissed off. And
You
that's the
can't
thing, like
enjoy
you
it.
have freedom of choice. Like you have freedom of choice to watch things or not watch them. You
Yeah.
spend your hard-earned money to watch it. Like either do or don't, and that's it. Like if you're watching it to hate, like it's kind of like that's kind of like to me stupid. Like go find something better to watch. Like and
I think reality is that most people who like hate on something don't even watch it or play it themselves. Like,
I don't think it's just like if you want to prove a point about something, don't watch it and don't give it views. And if the views are down, then they're gonna
yeah,
You have to change
react.
it, yeah.
And like I think people are like I said, regardless, like the social messaging and themes and projection, projection of characters is gonna fit more into like where things are at socially in today's world. Like you're not gonna get like and so that's what I'm saying. Like you're just kind of a fool if you think you're gonna get something else.
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
it's
This
like
is what it was meant to be, yeah.
go watch the 1950s WandaVision episode.
yeah,
I don't know. It's just to me, it's like
yeah. No one had a problem with WandaVision.
I'm not watching these shows or paying attention to these shows to like
Hate on them.
Yeah,
like to like I said, I'm just looking for something to watch for 20 minutes in the
it's
morning when I get dressed and brush my teeth. Like
yeah,
I'm not. It's not that deep. Like I'm not that dense.
yeah. Reality is entertainment. It's like you're not being forced to watch anything.
Right, like it's like if you're sitting here like go take a walk in the woods and like go lift some weights or something and like
Instead of
yeah,
hating on
instead of
14
watching a show that you're not gonna like and then complain
Mhm.
about it on Twitter. Like, man, it's just that's why I'm not gonna hate on the show. Like whether like there are parts I liked, there's parts I didn't like, and I'm not losing sleep over the show. Like
All
it's
right.
that simple.
All right. I believe that will be a wrap for our take on She-Hulk.
So
Sorry,
overall,
I'm ranting and raving. It's my specialty.
average show, nothing crazy.
Yes, we're gonna title this She-Hulk is the social commentary 2022 needs. That will be the title. Hopefully somebody will come at Mike and us, and then Mike will send a review of that person's message. And then hopefully in the next show, Mike will have his character design and story origin of She-Devil. So
Yeah, She-Devil.
that will be the next recording of us.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for listening. This was a very difficult show to do. I hope you enjoy it because we had a little bit of difficulties recording for yesterday. That was our plan to record this show. However, something came in the way, and then post-production, we're gonna cut it into the YouTube version. So if you're listening to this on audio, go to the YouTube version up to this point and just look at the evidence that we have, and you will enjoy it.
And why Ray's never gonna get invited back on.
Yes, we'll see. You seem to bring a certain chemistry out. So, thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoy listening. We enjoyed making it. Thank you guys. See you all next time. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. If you like what you were listening to, please subscribe to Fans Assemble. And if you can, please give us a rating. Do it for the audio world. They need you.